Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Good evening everybody, Militia Man and Crew. Today is Thursday, and we're just going to jump into some articles. Not a terribly long video tonight, but I think it's got some good information. This one's about transportation. It says no veto on countries' participation in the development process, which is the development road process. It says the Ministry of Transport announced on Thursday that there is no veto on countries participating in the development project, while noting that the navigation channel has been completed 100%. You guys got to realize that the development road project is going to be an ongoing process all the way out to 2050, when that's going to be at full capacity. That's going to be a big deal. I'm not sure I'll be around, but we'll see how that turns out. But ultimately, the spokesman Al Saifi says that the Strategic Development Road Project is going through specific stages of completion regarding the technical feasibility studies, and they're going to do that till the 2031. They have some other the second stage, 2038, in which obviously reaching outwards of 2050, which will be a major capacity. It's going to be a pretty big deal. So anyway, they talk about some completion rates with the railway. You know, they're pushing 88%. That's almost, they're doing a dang good job. They talk about the berths of those 5 that were completed 100%. The berths in down in the Port of Fa, and they have the submerged tunnel, which has exceeded 98% completion, and which is that's big, okay, because it's giving connectivity. And they announced that 98% in 2025, so they could be finishing it up at any time as far as that goes. They have negotiations with the Transport to Interdevelopment Road Project, whether it's a level of participation implementation. I'm sorry, but they're talking about China. China wants in, whether it's just participation in it or actual implementation. So, and then secondly, there's Turkey is the second most important stop after Iraq in its path. It's a four-way deal that was formed back with Turkey, Hungary, Serbia, and Bulgaria. And that's all about linking to Europe. It's not necessarily new, but they've come a long way, and they haven't stopped. And so it tells us a good story. The Development Road Project is proceeding. Iraq's integration into the global financial system is proceeding, and it's in an acceleration mode. This says this project aims to diversify sources of income and not rely entirely on oil. That's exactly what Iraq's plan is diversify their economy to have a market economy. And they're obviously showing that that's exactly what's taking place. And it will still keep taking place over long periods of time, even after they have integrated into the global financial system. It's going to provide about 100,000 direct jobs, and then it'll ultimately reach about 1.6 million indirect jobs. If you guys ever did any studies, in school when you were a kid, you probably learned about the mound systems. Maybe you didn't, maybe you did, but in certain countries at Iraq's level, and even in Africa, it's pretty common that if you have one good paying job, you need 12 people to support that job. That's 12 extra jobs. It's powerful. I've been in small communities in America. Exact same thing happens. You'd be surprised. Population of 3,000 people can double and triple when there's a high-paying entity that comes in, business, whatever it is, mining, could be forestry, whatever that is. Once you have a decent paying job, they need support, and it has growth. And so you can see where if they're going to create 100,000 jobs, I was only in my town, it was 500 jobs, and increased the population base from about 3,000 to about 9,000 people. And that's big. And the income is great. Everybody's got some money to burn, and all the local stores are working. The same thing is going to happen in Iraq, but on a much bigger scale. The project also includes establishment of a non-economic zone, major industrial city in the city of Al-Fa, which will achieve internal economic integration for Iraq and regional integration, and neighboring countries with a region. So that's a big deal. because they're going to, you've seen the articles about the GCC, Saudi Arabia, and other countries, all these different names, they're all piling in, coming in, all feel very secure in the circumstances in the Middle East. They're not too concerned about one of Iraq's neighbors or two of them. And so you haven't seen them backing out. So that I think the stability is there. I think that armada that's in the region is from the West is it has a presence. So, and it's a security blanket. But basically, this is very promising because there's no veto. It has a high design progress for the port. International participation is showing that the development road is on track, attracting serious global interests, and I think everybody should know that. That is obviously, it's been in the news for quite some time. It supports non-oil revenue growth, trade efficiency, and the overall integration path with who? It creates environment for the WTO, foreign direct investment, and what we're waiting for is a real effective exchange rate readiness. They are delivering massive strategic infrastructure. They add in all these different things for what? They're talking about deeper global financial economic ties. I don't see there's anything stopping the Development Road project. There's no way. There's too much money's been spent, and the progress is too far along, and security is expensive. If you think in terms of that armada, it's expensive. So the Central Bank of Iraq announces the completion of a key step in the comprehensive reform process for commercial and Islamic banks, branches of foreign banks. This is talking about from the CBI. We're talking about banks. It talks about the step that they're doing for the submission of required documentation for these banks, commercial banks, what we're talking about, commercial Islamic banks, etc. What we're looking for is their digital dinar to use commercially. And they haven't done that yet, and that's what we're hoping for. But suggests that we're going to be seeing things like that, I would hope, at any time. It says a step involved submission of required documentation for review in accordance with the minimum requirements, outlining 3 paths: continuing the market as an independent banking institutions, merging with other banking institutions, or exiting the market. You guys remember Oliver Wyman's been working on this for quite some time. The Central Bank of Iraq confirms that all Iraqi banks submitted the required documentation according to their clean or chosen path, allowing the central bank to assess their compliance with the minimum requirements over the coming months. The banks will address any identified gaps and strive for full compliance with reforms and standards. So they're working on this initiative. It says a new initiative to expand the capacity of private banks to support international trade for their clients. So they're going to expand their support for private banks and be involved in international trade. Banks that meet specific criteria, as assessed, the Central Bank of Iraq will be permitted to resume cross-border transactions. I should have said that better. As assessed by the Central Bank of Iraq, banks will be permitted to resume cross-border transactions and issue letters of credit in several international currencies, including the euro, the UAE dirham, Chinese yuan, Jordanian dinar, and others. But they've already told us this a long time ago that that's what they were planning on doing, but they're reiterating it. And that's what they're ready to do. It says this step complements the Central Bank of Iraq's strategy to enhance confidence in the future of the Iraqi sector and the global integration of the financial sector, and to drive sustainable growth in Iraq. Sustainable growth, that's what they're going to do. I don't know, this is pretty promising as far as I'm concerned. The timing of it and the development of the CBI's announcement today, to me, it's a clear signal that Iraq's banking system is actively preparing for a significantly increased trade and commercial activity. This is exactly what the Development Road project and the upcoming digital dinar for commercial use will demand. This one's a little bit longer, but it shouldn't take too long, but it's pretty powerful because it's a short article, but there's some interesting things that I think the impact from my study is going to show that this one is pretty hot. Bank sorting begins is the title. Started. Central Bank of Iraq reforms paved the way for liquidations and large-scale mergers. I mentioned Oliver Wyman a while ago. In a move described as the most extensive in years, the Central Bank of Iraq announced the completion of the basic phase of the program to reform commercial banks and branches of foreign banks after obliging them to choose one of three clear paths. You can continue as an independent bank, merging with other banks, or exiting the market entirely. According to the statement, all banks submitted their documents within what is known as those minimum requirements to that previous article in preparation for assessing their ability to continue and comply with new standards during the coming months. But behind this positive announcement, a more complex picture emerges in the sense of the reality of the banking sector. The reality of banks today, for instance, reform on paper and liquidation on the ground. Here it says, informed sources said that a number of private banks have not been able to prepare genuine reforms plans that meet the requirements of the central bank, which has led to some of them going out of service at the present time, with a number of others heading towards liquidation or forced merger during the next stage. This means that the three reform paths announced by the central bank are no longer just regulatory options, but have become a real sorting tool between banks that are able to survive and others that no longer possess the minimum operational and financial readiness. Here's another view. A new initiative for international trade, but for whom? In parallel, the central bank launched a new initiative allowing eligible banks to resume cross-border transactions and issue letters of credit in several international currencies, including the euro, the dirham, yuan, Jordanian dinar. However, according to a realistic reading of the banking situation, this initiative will only include a limited segment of banks that have succeeded in passing the strict technical and supervisory assessments, which deepens the gap between strong banks and those that are struggling. Why is this sector heading towards mergers and acquisitions? The reason is not limited to weak capital, but is related to several cumulative factors, and the most notably are weak compliance, anti-money laundering systems. So weak compliance, limited ability to manage risks in cross-border operations, the fragility of the technical and digital infrastructure of the banks. In recent years, some banks have relied on limited and unsustainable activities. With increased international oversight and changes in the rules governing foreign transfers, it has become impossible for small or unregulated banks to continue in the same way as before. Question here, are we witnessing a restructuring of the banking sector? In practice, what's happening today is a redrawing of the banking map in Iraq, not just an administrative reform. The anticipated mergers and exits of some banks from the market will lead to a reduction in the number of private banks, leaving fewer entities, but with a greater capacity for regional and international operations. So they're basically cleaning house. To me, this article is another good sign in the banking sector coming from the Central Bank of Iraq, as the overall view is much on track and makes complete sense to be happening now. So we're going to get into some breakdown, including how it supports Iraq's readiness for integration into the global financial system. All right, so here's some ideas what the article says. Central Bank of Iraq has begun enforcing comprehensive restructuring of the banking sector. Key items, directives that they put out, compliance with Basel III standards, capital adequacy, risk management and governance, mergers, acquisitions to consolidate the sector, which is reducing fragmentation, raising minimum capital requirements for banks, digital transformation acceleration, electronic payments, and core banking systems are being upgraded. Non-compliant banks face penalties, forced mergers, or license revocation. The goal is to create a stronger, more competitive, and globally integrated banking system capable of supporting trade, FDI, and economic diversification. Why this is a good sign and fits our view here at MMNC. Enough banks for integration. Iraq currently has around 70 licensed banks, which are state-owned, private, foreign branches. The CBI is now trying to shrink the sector to just a handful. It's consolidating weak players while keeping a healthy number of strong, compliant institutions in place. This creates a robust network ready to handle increased trade finance, cross-border payments, foreign direct investment inflows, and digital transactions. And that's exactly what's needed for integration, global integration. Restructuring, mergers, compliance, or fail. The article confirms that CBI's enforcement stance. Banks must merge to meet capital requirements. Debt and capital getting compliance. Ball 3, digital standards, anti-money laundering, counter financial terrorism, those types of things, AML, CFT, you guys have heard of all that. Or fail. License replication. This is not optional. It's the final cleanup phase to eliminate legacy weak banks and build a modern, resilient system. Iraq's ready now for integration. The CBI's actions show the sector is being prepared for the next level. They have a stronger capital base. I think you guys all know that. Better ability to finance trade projects. They've had digital upgrades. Remember these? Seamless integration with Swift MX, the ISO 20022 and future CBDC corridors. Compliance enforcement meets the gatekeeper standards, who are what? IMF, BIS, and the FATF, also Financial Action Task Force. This positions Iraq to handle large-scale capital flows, which is obviously the FDI, loans and remittances, without systemic risk, meaning integration, like for the WTO, capital markets, and their rear readiness that we've talked about. It all can proceed when prudent. We've talked about the CBI, gatekeepers, prudent management. So anyway, prudent when prudent, not when the banking sector catches up. Not when the banking sector catches up, meaning Iraq is ready. There's no need to wait for full secure or full sector maturity. The CBI can and will likely will proceed with a managed rear adjustment independently of the banking sector's final consolidation. As long as the core system is stable and compliant, which it increasingly is, mergers and compliance are ongoing, not prerequisites that must be 100% complete. Not prerequisites that can be or have to be 100%. Bottom line, if what I'm telling you is accurate, which I believe it is, there are enough banks and the CBI is actively strengthening them to support integration. The restructuring, the mergers, compliance push that they're having is the final cleanup. This is not a delay. Iraq is ready now, or just very close, for the next phase. The CBI can move on a rear when prudent, while the sector continues to consolidate in parallel. All of this data you'll find in Militia Man and Crew with Militia Man at patreon.com. And you can see how I have to say in my analysis, whether it's in Patreon or in our Discord chat room, Militia Man's Discord chat rooms. When you sign up as a full member, you get access to that. And we also have on Wednesdays, we do an hour-long live Q&A question so that you guys can talk to me and chit-chat. It's quite nice. We had a good one last night. So you can come in tonight if you want to catch up. And if you haven't joined, come on in. We'd love to have you. Everybody's welcome. And we'll see you soon. And by the way, everybody, thank you so much. I want to say thanks, Super Samson. I want to thank the team members, Gigi, Greg, everybody behind the scenes, keeping this place shape and having a good time. So thank you, guys. And PayPal, if you guys want to help keep that our channel going, any donation is helpful. Thank you very much. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.